Hey guys, it's Beth, and welcome back to more SpongeBob Beth for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. So, let's see. I have 22 spatulas, so I can't do Sand Mountain just yet. So I guess, I'll start with Shady Shoals, and the Mermalair.
Checkers, the king of non-contact sports.
Checkers, the king of non-contact sports. SpongeBob, you and I play checkers very differently. We play full tackle checkers where I'm from. I actually did invent a sport with friends at high school, which was full contact badminton. I do not recommend you try it. It is way too dangerous to be played. You are allowed to throw your racket at another player, and if that other player catches it, they're allowed to use 2 rackets for the rest of the match, while the person who threw the racket has to use their hand.
You shouldn't sneak up on Mermaid.
Sorry, Mermaid.
All right, that's... It is? Yes! Well, why hit... Because it...
Oh, all of their outfits have like texture to them.
I accept this awesome
Oh, look at that.
responsibility, Mermaid Man. You won't be disappointed.
SpongeBob's like wearing khakis, that's... Huh.
It's not just any sponge, it's Super Sponge. Soaking wet.
Isn't Super Sponge a name of one of the SpongeBob games on like PS1? Or maybe a Game Boy game? Oh. Do I get a reward for that, like a sock or something? No, I just get attacked by more robots. Why? Why would that be their testing thing? Is that a gun or just like a bone? It looks like a bone. Right? Doesn't that just look like a cartoon bone? I think that's what it is. I don't know how I didn't notice that before. I've noticed these are a lot more finicky in this game than they are in the original. But that's okay.
Another find for Patrick.
Here we go, another sock. Yeah, do not play full contact badminton. It is a bad idea. Also, I hate the fact it's not actually the invisible boatmobile. And unlike the original where it's always there, it's only loaded in when the button is pressed.
Fresh like a spring breeze.
So basically, you know what, I can tell the story of full contact badminton, I guess.
There's nothing like the
My
smell of
high school was doing like a thing where every rotation we'd do like a different sport or activity, and one of them was badminton, and we were supposed to do like badminton tournaments in like teams, and me and my partner we're not good because we both wear glasses and are very nearsighted by nature, and we can't wear glasses during gym because we don't want them to be broken, which results in us not being able to see very well. So me and her, like, we had lost pretty early on, and we had another team that lost pretty early on as well, and we were just sort of playing off to the side without like really paying attention to the other groups. And then it kind of just evolved over time because the teachers were not paying attention to us at all. Like, the gym coaches just like stopped caring about it. So eventually one of the guys on the other team throws his racket at me, and I immediately just like somehow I was like possessed by some dude named Chad, and I managed to catch a racket that was thrown at me despite the fact that I am legally blind. And then he was like, well, you caught it, so you have to use both rackets now. And I was like, okay. And then I did, and we kind of just continued going down that path, making up more and more stupid rules for the rest of that week or whatever. It shouldn't be full... Honestly, it should be more like full combat badminton instead of full contact badminton, but the first, like, full contact rolls off the tongue better. And it's like, the thing is, high school gym was 1,000 times better than middle school gym. It's just that for this one moment in time, no one paid attention at all, so we were able to get away with it. That was sort of a running theme at my high school where... What? Where? What? Okay, alright, so let's ignore that and just get back to the story. A running thing with my high school was just that, the teachers were either very motivated in their subject or not really at all. But they did really care, about the students in most regards. So, like, a lot of the time we just like ignored our work and just did random things in class. I remember me and a group of friends had a really good math teacher. I think it was for like crap, what was it for? Some math subject, I'm not sure which one. And we were doing so well in that class that basically we could literally take the final and we could take the final and just not do any problems, immediately submit it for a 0, and we would lose maybe 2 points and still have an A. So we just stopped caring for like the entire last chapter, and we were just playing chess and Pokemon Showdown in like the front of the class, full in view of the teacher, and he was completely cool with it because we weren't disrupting anyone. Like, but straight up, we brought in like our laptops and like chessboards, and would just continue like continuously play like every day. And then when the final came around, we still did better than like half the class, who didn't even like... Oh, I messed that up because of the stupid lock-on. Alright, we still did better than half the class despite the fact we had never actually paid attention to the entirety of the last chapter. Math used to come relatively easy to me, now it most certainly does not. I had one really good teacher for calculus in high school, and I did really good in that up until the last chapter where I just didn't understand anymore. And, like, still, she was a really good teacher and helped me through a lot, but that didn't count for college credit, so I had to take it again in college. And that teacher was awful. Like, completely... Like, I don't want to say that she was utter garbage, but she was, and, this was in the prelude to, the pandemic, and straight up, as soon as we had to go remote for that class, she just stopped teaching, and because of that, I failed the final, and I went from literally having a D or in that class to, oh no, I went from having a B in that class to having a D, from one grade alone. Like, if you looked at it, like, we had, I think, 5 quizzes and 3 exams in the final. Everything I had up until that point was mid-80s to, like, mid-90s, and then suddenly at the end with the final it was just straight up 50, and that made me like just immediately like fail the class, and I didn't find out about pass-fail until it was already too late, and then my new college was like, oh, you have to take Calc 1 again, so it was it is my 3rd time taking calculus, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to pass just because the second calc class that I did was so bad that I honestly think that I lost some of the knowledge that I had in calculus. Like, the only thing I remember how to do properly is derivatives. I can't remember to do anything else. And, like, straight up, if you ask me to do trigonometry, I'd just say shoot me. 'Cause anything that involves trig limits is just impossible.
I love opening presents.
My high school had a deal with a local community college that, like, some of the classes would be available for college credit and stuff like that, and a lot of the teachers teachers at the high school also worked as professors at that community college. And to be honest, as soon as I started going to classes that weren't taught by those high school teachers, like, college got exponentially worse. It was awful. Like, straight up, it was sad, because it was clear they didn't actually care about teaching, they just cared about going into work and, like, getting their paycheck, instead of actually teaching anything worthwhile. Okay, I usually write detailed notes. I hadn't this semester just because depression, but I usually write very detailed notes for my classes, and I remember in the the college calc that I took following the high school one, I was trying to copy down stuff from the board into like my notebook, and she was about to change the slide, so I just brought out my phone, that way I could like take a picture of it and write it down later. And she was like, what are you doing? You can't have your phone out in class. I'm like, I'm taking pictures of the board, that way I can copy it down. Oh, well, that's not my problem. It is 100% your problem. If, like, I get it, you have the notes available, like, online, but I'd prefer to have my notes in order. Like, it's not my fault that you jam every, like, slide in your PowerPoint with way too much text to be copied down in the 30 seconds that you give us to, like, write everything down. She was a nightmare, Professor. It was very, very aggravating to deal with towards the end. Like, genuinely, it was just, like, a terrible experience. I had a college English class that was taught by, one of my high school teachers that was fantastic and really, really good. And after that, I had to take an English class, another English class for college, I guess English 2. I don't have to deal with any more English, which is unfortunate because that's literally my best subject. And straight up, like, I wouldn't even describe it as a class, the college one. Like, in all honesty, it's just not a class. Like, she tried to make it into, like, a current events class, but not at all. And I think that is the one English class that I've been in where absolutely no one ever did the reading. Like, she would ask us if we did the reading, and no one did after, like, the second week, just because we were already tired of the class.
Like a new sponge.
Because she was one of those teachers that didn't actually treat any of the students with any respect at all. So, like, she was just openly rude to them, like, during class. So people were just like, alright, I'm not even gonna care. And if they got called on, some of them just wouldn't even respond. And honestly, that's valid. I don't think that teachers should really be allowed to just be dicks to their students, realistically. Because, like, if they want to be treated with respect, they should probably try to respect the people that they're trying to teach. That way they can have, like, a good environment for people to learn in, right? Like, or am I just crazy for thinking that? In one of my programming classes, like my first programming class, the teacher didn't know how to open MS Paint and openly ridiculed a girl who was sitting next to me for being right and correcting him because he told us to open to the wrong page in our textbooks, and, like, he started teaching, like, a lab that just wasn't the one we were supposed to be doing. And she was like, hey, do you mean to do this one? Because this is one that's actually in our lesson plan. And for days afterward, like, every time, like, every single class, this dude would just try to belittle her over that, to the point where she literally just left the class and didn't come back. And I completely understand why. I don't want to do the rolling ballroom. It is way too much effort for so little payoff. And Am I missing? I guess I have to go to I have to go to downtown Bikini Bottom to get another spatula to continue to the next part. Okay. I can say at least most of my teachers this semester are trying. They're just not particularly good at it. Like, my calculus teacher definitely tries. It's not an environment that works for me. I can't blame her for that at all. My programming teacher, same thing. Like, it's not his fault, that's completely on me. My physics teacher is just awful in every way, so I can blame him for that. Like, he does not try. He gives examples, but doesn't actually use, like, any numbers and skips steps in the examples. Whenever we have homework in the class, whenever we check it, there's, like, 2 questions relating to what we did in the lesson, and then like the other 10 are all completely like things we had never done. And every time we ask him about it, he tells us to go read the textbook. And when we do read the textbook, it's not effective information for what we need, and he never like actually tries to help. And the teaching instructor is 1,000 times better for that class. Like the teaching assistant, rather. Like, they're very good, but... What was that stuck on? Okay. And I feel so bad for that teaching assistant, because apparently that teacher is like his last person that he has to go through before he's allowed to become a teacher, and that teacher doesn't like him, so he's just never going to be able to become a teacher at that school, which is awful because he's already 1,000 times better than the actual teacher for that subject. Like, it's so frustrating, that one.
Bringing it around town.
Honestly, I think all schools should have just used this year in general as a year off, because clearly they were not prepared for it. They were completely unprepared for all of the work that would have to be done for remote learning, and it just ended incredibly poorly for everyone.
Boy, Patrick will be glad to have this back.
I think the only people who actually benefited from, like, from colleges being open are the colleges themselves, for being able to charge as much for online classes as they did for just, like, regular courses. It's like, this entire semester was a giant scam. There's no way around it. Welp. Cool. You know what? I have enough spatulas to go to Sand Mountain now, so I'm just gonna do that.
Sand Mountain, where sea creatures go.
Squidward, am I glad?
Oh, did I break? Oh, I thought that was like the floating animation, not the ice animation, because I was standing still and hovering like that. And I literally just assumed that I had broken the game because it happens so often. I don't think that this is the intended way that I'm supposed to get up here, but it works.
Hello, my most favorite friend in the whole.
Oh,
Sure.
isn't there a sick?
It's always safe.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be that hard to actually get that one without, and like, get back up without the bungee, but Sand Mountain is the thing that I'm most nostalgic for in this game, and I still think it's the most fun part in general.
I've gone down this hill.
Okay. Time challenge versus Mrs. Puff. Be sure to open the boxes before I leave.
I love opening presents.
Alright. Let's go.
Oh, sparkly! Another find for Patrick.
It's a shame that the draw distance is limited so much in this game. It actually makes this part a lot harder than the original game. Which is a shame. Okay, well, I'll have to come back for that sock. And besides, I need to get more shiny objects for the other stages, so I'll probably play through this stage a couple times.
You've just met the Sponginator. Boy, Patrick will be glad to have this back. I feel like a new sponge.
Oh, it sounds like someone is getting into the shower, and that always causes a lot of noise, and it looks like we're out of time anyway, so, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed so far, and I hope that you all have a very nice day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye!